Marriage is an antiquated, male-centered institution, and I don't believe in it.
Institution? Karen, this is you and me, not some building.
Fine, you could make a joke of it.
I remember Bob Brush telling me about Michael, about this character of this, of Karen's love interest. And he's like, the actor that we found is kind of like, he reminds me of Nicolas Cage. He's kind of got these big puppy dog eyes. He's kind of dopey and a little goofy, but not too goofy. He's still a guy, you know, a dude, and you want him to be your best friend. And he was telling me about this quality that this actor had, and lo and behold, it was David Schwimmer.
Hi. Hi.
He was explaining David's qualities so well that by the time I met him, I was like, you kind of want him to be your boyfriend, but guys want him to be your best friend. What was interesting is he wasn't David Schwimmer when I met him, and I think that that's probably something that a lot of people discover about actors that are great people, and who they are really comes through their work, which he's very much that kind of actor, that he has a quality that you just kind of fall in love with. I mean, I knew that he was on the road to bigger and better things, and I had the utmost faith that he would kind of get to where he is today. He was just so much fun to be around.
It is more than love.
It is life. One life.
In 1968, Karen was 17, so she would be 67 now. I think I would be definitely on the board of Greenpeace. I would have grandkids. I would probably have been married a few times because, you know, she's so pig-headed that I just don't see her having settled down with one man until maybe she was about 50. And I think that Karen and Michael probably would have parted ways and had a couple kids together and then reconnected. And probably remarried and not had such a large hippie wedding, but maybe something a little bit more traditional.
They made a YouTube video where they took out the narration from the Wonder Years and let it play in silence. It's called the Silent Wonder Years, actually. And I'm going to watch it.
Kevin?
Don't come in!
Honey, Gina Pruitt's here.
So I'd be talking... that's funny. man. That's slow without the...
Kevin, what is wrong with you?
And kind of creepy. That's why I got the raise when I came back. It doesn't work without the narration. It's a totally different show.
Kevin, you're going to get out here right this minute.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's but that was the challenge for Fred. Fred had to do that every day. And directing him, it's like, what are you going to hold on to? Well, this guy's going to talk for 3 minutes. He got it down to a science, I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He knew how to fill that space. You look at it. I mean, he cared in that clip. It's building suspense, right? I mean, in that clip, without me talking, he's like, what? He's looking, he's thinking, he had to keep that tension going. But not only Fred, everybody had to pause, have those awkward pause. To point it out by taking the narration out is a riot. I haven't seen that.
I think it's very hard for someone to go through what I've gone through recently, and it's very hard to talk about.
Simone Biles visited the Today Show and tearfully shared her feelings after the sentencing of Larry Nassar, the USA Gymnastics doctor who sexually abused many of the young gymnasts. Biles has alleged that she too was abused by Nassar, and she tweeted that the judge overseeing the trial who let the victim speak at the sentencing hearing was her hero.
I think it's very hard for someone to go through what I've gone through recently, and it's very hard to talk about. But other than that, I think the judge is my hero just because she gave it to him straight and didn't let him get any power over any of the girls, and letting the girls go and speak was very powerful.
Host Hoda Kotb also fought back tears as she talked with Biles.
He can't hurt you anymore.
No, he cannot.
Biles went on to describe how she was able to compete and become the most decorated American gymnast while silently dealing with sexual abuse.
I think we're very good at compartmentalizing things, and so we just kind of push it in the back of our heads because we don't want anyone to think of that, or we don't want ourselves to think of that. So once we go out there with full heart and compete because that's what we love to do.
However, Biles did comment about how shockingly little the governing bodies for the sport, USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic Committee, have done during and following the scandal.
The new president, Carrie Perry, she actually flew down for a visit, and we didn't talk of any of that discussion, but she just wanted to introduce herself because I, out of the girls, is the only one back in the gym so far.
Yeah.
So she reached out to me, but other than that, the USOC has not reached out yet.
Lean back.
Yeah, I'm coming in.
Lean back. Yes. Lean back. And also, massage is nice too. Yeah. Pregnancy
Come on.
on the belly.
Ryan Seacrest waddled on to Live with Kelly and Ryan with a little baby Ryan in the oven to give some weirdly placed and oddly shaped support for a coworker who's actually expecting.
But she still doesn't look pregnant enough for me. Do you know what I mean?
Do you smell onions?
I don't. Why?
I smell onions. And I may have to pee at any time.
And though we're hoping for a reboot of the seminal 1994 film Junior, we had to settle for Seacrest embarrassing himself with a pregnant belly for an hour.
I had a little bit of an accident already. Sorry. I was sipping my coffee and someone yelled at me and said, "You can't have coffee." And I said, "Why not? We're going on the air." And they said, "You're pregnant." I said, "I'm not really pregnant." So they yanked the coffee from me, and
It's so funny
it is.
because
And Seacrest was surprised about the side effects of birthing a child when he compared Prager Notes with the really pregnant Chrissy Teigen.
Remember you gave birth and then afterwards?
Yeah. there was a lot of, Ryan, you should be prepared for this.
I'm ready.
You're gonna rip a bit. Your area.
I'm gonna rip? I felt a little gassy.
You're gonna tear. No,
Yeah.
not rip.
Thankfully, the really pregnant live staffer was there to learn about baby stuff with the hosts.
Put some of the white zinc oxide diaper ointment on and make sure you feel like you're frosting a cake.
All right.
Frosting a cake. Yeah,
Cake
the
boss.
cake.
I'm-
And you don't want the diaper to be too tight, but you also don't want to be too loose. Watch out, Ryan, you're going to get hit. You want to keep the diaper